you're just a wealth of information on so many different topics. And I know, Shep, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I know eventually you want to talk with Scott about Elenin at some point, right?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. I was just wondering if he's checked into anything like that influencing the Earth or any kind of other planetary alignments or bodies.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that perhaps a little bit. Our last segment of tonight's show is coming up, and we probably won't have any time to get into that too in-depthly. But behind the scenes, you guys can talk and look into that some more. This is a team effort, folks. We all work together here and are trying to figure out what's going on and what we can do about it. And we'll talk about that. If you want to call up, you have an opportunity to do so still at 866-841-1065. Last segment of the Bob Tuskin Show for the week coming up in just a moment. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Shotgun in my hands, behind the gun, I'll make my final stand. Yeah, and that's why they call me Bad Company. I can't deny.
All right, final segment of tonight's Bob Tuskin Show. We'll be back next week. Scott from the Believers Underground has been joining us this hour, as well as Shepard M. Bellis of the IntelHub.com. Shep, I'll let you bring us back here and introduce the topic of Elenin and the planetary alignment. We don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but could this possibly play into a lot of the Earth changes we see?
Yeah, Scott, there was supposedly an alignment during the Chilean earthquake way back, and it was said that the poles shifted back then, and supposedly this object Elenin aligned with some objects around the day of the Japanese earthquake, and of course some other planetary bodies aligned as well. But do you have any research that shows that the planets might be affecting the Earth in any way right now for any strange reason?
Well, I know the space is a player. I mean, heck, that's NASA reported they have a cloud that's 30 light years across, burning 6,000 degrees Celsius. I mean, and we're flying right past this stupid thing, and they stated point blank it's affecting our sun. I'll tell you what, whatever affects the sun is going to affect us here. Now, post-glacial rebound effect, it's going to happen. It don't matter how many planets line up with whatever. It's just going to make that effect worse. And I saw that thing on the Elenin or whatever it was, and somebody was thinking it was like a dark star and stuff. I've seen a lot of different theories on that thing, especially now that NASA shot up this satellite that looks for those kind of anomalies. But, the Bible says it, man. There's going to be signs in the heavens, so we already know that the moon is getting hit with quakes, and it's compressing. It's getting smaller. That came right out of AP, from the lunar module. These planets are all being compressed in one way or another. We're going to a bunk place in the solar system. And then you add all this water to it. Holy smokes, man.
Yeah.
Talk about the little book in Revelations where he stands with 1 foot on the water and one on the land. That's post-glacial rebound effect and continental rebound effect. I'll just sit there going like, yep, that book's open.
It seems like a perfect storm almost. Bob, what do you think about all that?
I don't know that I've been able to wrap my head around this stuff. I like everything, keep an open mind and see when the pieces fit and when they don't. But I sure as hell am not going to ignore the subject matter.
Exactly.
How crazy is that? Because somebody, I know about gardening, I know about chemtrails or 9/11. But just because I know about those things and maybe have not opened my mind to all the complexities of Earth changes and planetary alignment doesn't mean that I'm not interested in learning about it. And that's why I do the show. I get a lot of crap from people, Bob, why are you talking about these things? Well, is there anything out there that should be taboo to talk about? I mean, as far as information in regards to the, Earth and to humanity, affecting humanity, issues against humanity, we should be able to talk about all aspects of it, whether it's a tough topic like pedophilia, which we got into on last night's show, or something like Earth changes, which others out there may not cover. So
Sure. Speaking of not covering stuff, real quick, a plug for the infohub.com. A lot of these alternative news sites don't cover certain topics. Just remember the Intel Hub covers all topics from the Bilderberg Group to the CNP to Zionism, all the way back to the Jesuit Order, Planet X, whatever, you name it, we're going to cover it as long as it's real and it's really going on.
yeah, they even cover most of my stuff.
Well, you do a good job at, a lot of this activism, getting the word out, the meetings with the EPA that you guys did. I mean, a lot of good stuff going on. These confrontations with people like Penn and Teller and all these, Illuminati shills and whatnot. So,
Those schmendricks. Yeah. Well, anyways, we got to keep at it, man. Hold these people accountable. Hey, Scott, we're almost out of time, buddy. Final thoughts? Any news and updates with the Believers Underground?
Well, I'm down here in Hollywood today, and hope to meet with some of the folks. Just drop me an email, and if you're in the LA area and you want to get together, do a truther hangout and stuff while I'm down here, sounds cool to me. And as far as the Earth changes, man, hey, you just have yourself a plan. We're gonna get through it. Okay, contrary to what everybody thinks, God's going to destroy the earth. No, He's going to restore it. And we got 3 more festivals still to conclude after the tribulation of those days. And this earth is going to be restored. Further out, it'll probably be burned up by fire because He's going to have us for Himself. But right now, it's going to get fixed, but it's going to go through a lot of hell. And these profiteers are going to try to make every nickel last, just put us in bondage beyond all comprehension and thought.
Sure. Absolutely. Bob?
Keeps your mind off it.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, Shep, thanks for coming on, buddy, as always.
Sure, absolutely.
There he goes, folks. Shepard and Bellis of the IntelHub.com. And Scott, as always, man, it's a pleasure to have you on. We got to do some calls together. We were talking off the air about, calling up the USGS or whoever. We got to call some of these folks, and I'll get right through to the head honcho and put you on the line with them. And I could only imagine how they will defecate themselves when they hear the information that you provide.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I'm here. And I have no problems talking with any agency or whatever.
I know you have in the past, and I know you also turned down bribes from grants. Part of the conditions of taking the grant money was to keep this information to yourself and compartmentalize, as they often do, and you were above that. And Scott, I thank you for that, and I'll never forget what you did for humanity, brother. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Hey, man, I love being on, and, they get rid of that incorporation idol, and heck, man, then we can all work freely.
That's exactly right. All right, there he goes, folks. Scott from the Believers Underground.